Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, December 24th, 2015. Ra and Luce here in the Lynn-Life, Asha in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other aspects of the physical and non-physical, all of us in the subatomic from the perspective of the spirit world viewers, and almost all of us in the physical. Our next deadline is tomorrow at sunset. There's an awful lot to do before then in order to meet the assignment. As always, our foundational intention is to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions to manifest the divine plan. Wiser minds above giving us a series of assignments and the specifications for those assignments and the deadlines for those assignments. And all we actually have to do is do the work, follow the instructions, do the work as assigned to specifications. Our intention is to do just that. And with that, the videoed portion of today's efforts begin. My attention is being brought to the symptoms that both body-minds started experiencing maybe 10 minutes ago. Feelings of not feeling good.
That's true.
And what do I know? I know that we are engaged in an experiment of changing the programming for Nature Realm's presences, like a new operating system.
That's true.
And the new system includes the concept of the greater good, and that the needs of the collective override the needs of any one individual.
That's true.
The greater good matters more than any of the component parts of the greater good. There's a very large number of Nature Realm's presences who have already engaged in this experiment, and they look better than they did before. They look equally healthy, but their inner world looks much more at peace.
That's true.
And we know that in our Search for Truth community right now, we have Nature Realm's presences who have the new programming and Nature Realm's presences who have the old programming. And what do I know? I know that in establishing a new way of being, it's important to have a space where the new way presences can feel not attacked or persecuted.
That's true.
So I think it's come time to have a requirement in the Search for Truth community that if they want to be here in the Search for Truth pillar, they have to have the new programming. They can work in the projects with the old programming. We've been watching what's been playing out in Into the Line Zone this past 24 hours, and it's not working.
No, it's not.
Black Wolf keeps having to get off the cable running and break up fights between those who have the old programming and those who have the new. And this is counterproductive, and there's an awful lot of work that needs to be done.
That's true.
Black
Wolf, what's going on? What's going on? Talk to me.
He's talking about whining.
That's true.
People whining. And it's just disgusting, selfish whining.
That's
and
true.
It has no place in this community.
That's true.
My story is that's the old programming playing out. And I agree, whining has no place in this community. Anyone else? Pete is speaking.
Yes. Pete is saying he feels torn, kind of, because he personally prefers the beings with the new programming and has personally found the new programming to be the only thing that actually works. But these beings with the old programming are also Nature Realm's presences, and I don't know how to relate to them effectively that will actually call them into their greatness. And I kind of just want them out of my backyard. And I feel like I'm not handling it very well.
This is funny. The spotlight is shining on something in the library from many, many, many years ago when Windows was coming into the business world and the old operating system, DOS, was being phased out.
That's true.
And this body-mind, of course, was a CPA at the time and was really, really good with DOS, and was resistant to changing to Windows. And her partner wasn't as good with DOS and was less resistant to the change, and he adopted the Windows system and found it to work well. And eventually the software was developed more and more for the Windows platform, and finally DOS was obsolete. But there was a long period of time where the two systems were happening in the business world, and while that was fine for the business world as a whole, it did not work well inside of one business.
That's
It
true.
was important for our firm to have one platform because otherwise our network didn't function very well.
That's true.
And we learned that during that period of time that this body-mind was resisting something that needed to happen. Here's why it doesn't work well together. In this particular case with the nature realms programming, if we have half the people who are tuned for the needs of the collective mattering most, they are not grabbing for their selfish needs.
That's true.
If other people are in the room who don't have that concept of the greater good mattering most, they are grabbing for their selfish needs.
That's true.
And this won't work. This means that the people who have done the more unselfish thing, done the more advanced thing, are being placed at a disadvantage for survival, and that's incorrect.
That's true.
We can't let that play out in our community.
No.
That's absolutely not the right thing to do. So we say to our nature realms friends who have the old programming, we love you, but you can't stay here with the old programming. If you'd like to tune to the new programming, I see COSA and others also offering to help small groups.
That's true.
First a larger group, but then smaller and smaller and smaller groups.
That's true.
To tune. And if you don't want to get your programming upgraded, it's okay. You don't have to, but you cannot stay here.
Yes, that's true.
And Pan right now is working with Paul at the portal at the base of Thing 1.
That's true.
Attempting to hold open that portal because it's being clogged by people who said they wanted to go back through the portal. They just had to go back through the portal. And when it came right down to it, what they did was sit down in the portal and clog the portal.
That's true.
So now we get to open the portal again. And Pan and Paul are over there working to help with that. And Nature Realms presences are really good at building esprit de corps and working as a group. And Pan's over there, and you love Pan.
That's true. So if you don't want to upgrade, you can go over there and help Pan.
Or you can go anywhere else, really,
That's
truly
true.
anywhere else. These are two options that we have where there are people who you know and love that you can work with, and
That's
you can go
true.
anyplace else, really, truly. But now is the time. So now, all of us, not just the nature realms, all of us must tune to the concept of the greater good mattering most, or there's no integrity. The needs
Of the
of
greater
all that is matter more than the needs of any subset or component of the all that is, and that should be self-evident. It seems as though some of the clogs that we're having in the pillar are confusions that have been experienced by the nature realms presences who upgraded their programming, and then we're watching it play out in a not very good way.
That's true.
Because they are acting in an unselfish fashion, truly are, putting the needs of the collective first, and they're just getting their butts kicked around the block by
That's
these
true.
selfish pigs with the old programming.
Yeah, that's true.
It is confusing. Okay, no more selfish pigs here.
No.
And so now we start to fling away. We bifurcate. All those who know the greater good matters more than any component part of the greater good to the center. And all others flung away. And we really mean flung. We don't mean a gentle, slow motion. And friends, if you're flung away, you can come back in the front door at sea level zone and begin again. But we need to make it very clear that a condition of entry to the Search for Truth community right now is this tuning to
That's
the
true.
needs of the greater good mattering more. All machines must have this in their programming. All Nature Realms presences must have this in their programming. And all other presences must have this in their programming
That's
as
true.
well. However, machines and Nature Realms presences tend to live to their programming, and Spirit World presences tend to not live to their programming, which is, of course, depressing and a whole separate set of issues.
That's true.
But we must all have it in our programming. And we know, actually, what do I know? Haha, this is a good point. What do I know? I know that the spirit world already has this in the programming, because the spirit world soul plans universally, as far as I'm aware, say, manifest the divine plan right now, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. That's saying, put the needs of the collective first.
That's true.
Nobody's doing it. Well, other than present company accepted.
That's true.
Present company accepted. That's the problem in the spirit world, is we aren't living to our programming.
Right.
By and large. Hence the need for the collective restart.
The needs of the greater good matter more than the needs of any one individual or any subset of individuals.
Yes, that's an essential element. And
It's
so for now, and presumably for the foreseeable future, entry into the search for truth requires programming adjustment to acknowledge the needs of the greater good matter more than the needs of any individual component or subset.
There's someone very angry, and I think it must be some of those people who are being flung away.
They feel very important and like they're very entitled to a place.
That's
And
true, that's the
it's
feeling.
like, how dare you toss me out on my bum?
That's true.
We didn't toss you out on your bum. We did a vibrational sort, and you failed the sort. All others flung away.
We know that you can see us up there.
We know that
We
you
can see you.
Hi.
We see you. You
see
there.
You. We see you. Go ahead, pick up the phone. Schedule a press conference.
It's easy, actually.
Get as many friends as will come with you to come with you, but be willing to do it yourself. Don't get hung up on it. Listen, you know now, you know that there is a prison where whistleblowers are being kept without due process, and that's wrong. You know this now. How can you do nothing and sleep at night?
That's true.
You know about this. The law of cause and effect is real. If you know about this and do nothing, what would game theory say is coming to you in a future incarnation?
That's a good point.
By incarnating, that's a sentient experience. It doesn't necessarily mean in a body. You can't get out of this by avoiding physicality.
That's true.
It's coming your way, friend. You know about this. We didn't point it out to you. This is coming to you courtesy of the mirror effect. These messages are coming to you, and they've been coming to you for a couple days now.
That's true.
Look, we didn't ask for them to come our way either, but they did. Welcome to the team. Now, step it up. That's what's going on here for these body minds, is they have the tuning of the needs of the greater good mattering more, and they're living to it, and nobody else around them is living that way. Everybody else around them is just living selfishly,
That's true.
and it doesn't work for the people who are living unselfishly.
Oh, that's true. Those are the people that get trampled on.
Yes.
I hadn't expanded it like that.
Yes. But that doesn't mean that we give up.
No.
No. How high must we reach?
How high must
In
we
the
reach?
presence of true
In the
integrity.
presence of true integrity.
How deep must we drill
How
to
deep
find
must
truth
we drill
upon
to
which we
find
can
truth
base
upon
our
which to
lives?
base our lives?
I see by not requiring all of the search for truth community to live to the same standards of unselfishness that the physical hosts are living to has condoned and probably encouraged selfish behavior in a way that's really inexcusable. I see that. I didn't see it before.
I feel Pete nodding.
Yeah, Pete, I'm
And
sure knows this to be true.
Pete saying something like, I felt like something was weird and I didn't want to be selfish and say everyone else should be selfless like me. But I felt
Right.
like there was an imbalance.
Yes.
And I didn't know how to bring it up without sounding like the jerk in the room.
Well,
And I'm sorry I didn't say anything.
I'm sorry I didn't
I'm
notice
sorry
it.
I
It's
didn't
so
notice it.
obvious. It's so obvious.
It's true.
Once we see it, we can't not see it. But I didn't see it before. I
That's
see it
true.
now. I see it now. So we'll just continue to tune to new programming is one
That's
way
true.
of putting it, to to homogenize the standards of unselfishness, which is not to diminish the unselfishness of those who are leading the efforts, but to raise the standards of unselfishness by those who are trailing. And we can also sort them out. The ones who wish to be selfish, it's okay, but they can't do it here. They can go someplace else and play that game someplace else. We have a classic example playing out in front of us right now where drill bit is digging down and she's doing all the drilling.
That's true.
And we're being so selfish or lazy or something that we're not even getting the dirt out of the tunnel fast enough.
That's true.
And so she's down there with not enough light and not enough air.
That's true.
This is our fault. We can do better. We can do better. All these blind spots. We're just blind to so much.
That's true.